LeBron James has officially told the Lakers to move on, making him the biggest free agent in basketball. And now, reports are linking him to a blockbuster move to the Miami Heat. The trade details emerging are already sending the NBA into a frenzy. Let me break it all down. LeBron James has left the building. Not a rumor, not a whisper from some anonymous league source buried in a tweet. This is real. Rich Paul, CEO of Clutch Sports and LeBron's agent, told ESPN's Shams Charania directly, LeBron James will continue his NBA career for the 2026-27 season, and he has informed the Los Angeles Lakers that the franchise can move on without him. 8 years, one title, countless records, and now a goodbye that sent shockwaves through the entire league. The timing here matters. LeBron didn't sneak out the back door. According to reports, Lakers president Rob Pelinka and Rich Paul spoke about the decision before the start of free agency, and LeBron informed the organization early out of respect for the franchise, allowing the Lakers to move forward with their offseason plans. That's the kind of exit that tells you everything about where his head is at. Clean, deliberate, and already pointed somewhere else. And where is somewhere else? The conversation didn't take long to turn to Miami. According to NBA insider Jake Fisher, the Heat could be a dark horse. He's been connected to Miami, Fisher said, a potential homecoming there once Giannis was traded to South Beach. There's plenty of talk around the league that they could see that reunion. So the moment LeBron's departure went public, Miami was already being mentioned. Within hours, it was the loudest name in the room. Let's be clear about what Miami has done to earn this conversation. This isn't the same Heat roster that's been treading water since Jimmy Butler walked out the door. For months, Miami chased the one name that always felt out of reach. On the Monday before the draft, that dream became reality as Giannis Antetokounmpo left Milwaukee to form a terrifying partnership with Bam Adebayo, giving the Heat the star power they desperately missed since Butler's 2025 exit. So let's lay that out plainly. The Heat already swung and landed Giannis, and now they're circling LeBron. Pat Riley is doing Pat Riley things. Following the Greek Freak's blockbuster trade to Miami, Barry Jackson of the Miami Herald reported that the Heat could try to lure impending free agent LeBron James with its full mid-level exception. But a James return is considered a long shot. Though nothing can be ruled out, wrote Jackson. That phrase, nothing can be ruled out, is the most Pat Riley sentence ever written. This is a man whose entire career has been defined by getting the calls that nobody believed were real. And the voices aren't just coming from insiders. Two-time Heat champion Mario Chalmers, never going to stop rooting for a LeBron reunion in South Florida, used the Giannis trade as a springboard to suggest that LeBron and his son Bronny could make a shocking move to the Heat. Appearing on WQAM radio, Chalmers was asked what blockbuster acquisition team president Pat Riley would target next. And his answer, LeBron. Obviously LeBron. The man who played next to him during the championships. The man who knows better than anyone what it feels like to win in that building. Now let's talk about what LeBron's free agency actually looks like on paper. The Warriors are the current favorites to land him, with -500 odds on DraftKings, the Cavaliers at +300, the Heat at +1,000, and the Spurs at +2,000. So Miami isn't the frontrunner by any stretch, but this is the NBA odds shift. Conversations happen behind closed doors, and the Heat just acquired Giannis, which changes the entire pitch. Think about what Miami is offering from a basketball standpoint. The envisioned starting lineup would feature Giannis Antetokounmpo, LeBron James, Bam Adebayo, Davion Mitchell, and Norman Powell. Say that lineup out loud. Let it sit. Two of the top 5 players of their generation playing alongside arguably the most versatile big man in the Eastern Conference, with a two-way wing and a knockdown shooter rounding things out. That's not just a competitive roster. That's a championship-caliber team assembled in the space of 2 weeks. And Chalmers made the case beyond just the stars. He went on to highlight how the infrastructure in Miami would serve as the perfect environment to nurture Bronny's development. You could actually get Bronny some real minutes at PG and keep developing him and let him learn from other guys. So I think it's a great move. So it's not just about LeBron winning. It's about LeBron closing out his career in a city that fits his family, with a son who needs real minutes and real development, and a franchise that's proven it can deliver both. But before we go any further into where LeBron is headed, we have to sit with where he's coming from, because the story of his departure from Los Angeles isn't simple. When LeBron picked up his player option last offseason, he released a statement that indicated he was not fully satisfied with how the Lakers were operating. LeBron wants to compete for a championship, his agent Rich Paul told ESPN at the time. He knows the Lakers are building for the future. He understands that, but he values a realistic chance of winning it all. That's not a statement from a man who's locked in. That's a statement from a man who's already asking himself the hard question. The Lakers heard it, the league heard it, and so did Miami. The Lakers made a check-in call to LeBron early in free agency and haven't followed up with an offer since. That silence is opening a door Pat Riley may be ready to walk through. There's something almost poetic about that. The franchise that defined his legacy for 8 years goes quiet, right at the moment another city starts talking. Here's where the whole story turns. LeBron James is not simply chasing a team, he's chasing a feeling. The feeling of knowing that the people around him are as committed to winning as he is. And the last year in LA gave him reasons to wonder whether the Lakers still felt that way. Which brings us all the way back to the trade that started this entire chain of events. In February 2025, the Lakers made a move that changed the trajectory of everything. Anthony Davis was traded to the Dallas Mavericks in exchange for Luka Doncic, in what was regarded as one of the most unexpected trades in American sports history. LeBron and Davis had built something real together. LeBron spent 2 days in disbelief after the Lakers traded away his close friend and teammate of 5.5 years. The man who doesn't get rattled. The man who says he's seen everything basketball has to offer. He was rattled by this. He said it himself. Luka has been my favorite player in the NBA for a while now. James said after a win over the Clippers, I've always just tried to play the game the right way and inspire the next generation, and Luka happens to be one of them, and now we're teammates. He found a way to embrace it publicly, but privately, according to ESPN's Ramona Shelburne and Brian Windhorst, James was not given significant notice that the Lakers were going to send Davis, Max Christie, and a future first-round pick to Dallas for Doncic. He forgave it, but he didn't forget. That's the invisible crack in the wall. And over the course of the 2025-26 season, that crack got wider, until the day it finally opened, and LeBron James walked right through it, out of Los Angeles, into free agency, and straight toward the warmth of South Beach. Let's look at the numbers from his final season in purple and gold, because they tell a story too. In 2025-26, LeBron earned $52.6 million in salary while averaging 20.9 points, 7.2 assists, and 6.1 rebounds on 51.5% shooting over 60 regular season games. He's 41 years old. He played 60 games, and he was shooting better than half his shots from the field. There is no one else in the history of the sport who has done anything close to that at this stage of their life. And in the playoffs, he elevated. He topped the regular season with a stellar 10-game playoff run, averaging 23.2 points, 7.3 assists, and 6.7 rebounds, doing it largely in the absence of Luka Doncic and Austin Reeves, who remained sidelined after sustaining injuries. When it mattered most, LeBron carried a Lakers team that should have been eliminated in the first round. He dragged them past Houston on his back and gave them life deep into May. But it wasn't enough to change the reality. Any championship hopes the Lakers might have harbored were ultimately dashed when Doncic and Reeves suffered a pair of late-season injuries that kept the former out for the whole postseason and the latter out for part of it. James still led the Lakers to a first-round upset over the Houston Rockets, but they were swept in the second round by the Oklahoma City Thunder. And that sweep, that helpless 4-game exit, is what crystallized everything. LeBron was done giving everything he had to a team building toward a future that didn't include him at the center. The reaction to LeBron's departure was immediate. Lakers president Jeannie Buss released a statement. LeBron James is one of the greatest athletes in history. We will always be thankful for his 8 years with the Lakers, including the title he led us to in 2020, under the toughest imaginable circumstances, and the countless records he broke in purple and gold. We wish him all the best in the future, both on the court and off. He will always be a cherished part of the Lakers family. Gracious, warm, and already past tense. LeBron responded in kind. James responded to the statement saying it was truly an honor to play for the franchise, writing on social media, "No, thank you. Truly an honor to wear the purple and gold while trying to continuing the greatness and legacies that came before me. Hope I made a few proud during my stint. 8 years, 1 championship, countless records signed off with a phone emoji and a crown. That's LeBron." And with those words, the most consequential free agency in modern NBA history was officially open. When free agency opened at the end of June, a significant number of NBA teams reached out to Rich Paul and registered interest in LeBron James. Even at 41, he remains one of the very best players in basketball. And after more than 2 decades of dominance, the league has grown used to pursuing the most dominant player of this era. But Miami has something the others don't: history, chemistry, and a new roster that looks like it was built for exactly this moment. The cap situation at the Heat is complicated, but not impossible. It'll most likely be on a mid-level exception, which the Heat can only take at this moment, given the much heavier commitments to Antetokounmpo and Bam Adebayo. The Heat have the non-taxpayer mid-level exception of around $15 million available, but a sign and trade would allow for a more substantial deal, potentially a 1 or 2 year contract with options. So the money question is real, and Riley knows it. That's where the sign and trade framework enters the picture. A new proposal envisions Pat Riley pulling off another seismic move by pairing Giannis with LeBron James in a 3-team sign and trade involving the Los Angeles Lakers and the Utah Jazz. 3 teams, multiple moving parts, draft picks, salary matching, trade exceptions. The exact kind of deal that Riley spent his entire career mastering. The exact kind of deal that the rest of the league thinks is impossible until it happens. Shannon Sharpe had thoughts. Chad Johnson had action. Shannon Sharpe shared his perspective on the Giannis to Heat trade, and NFL legend Chad Johnson, aka Ocho Cinco, lit up at the idea. LeBron back to Miami with Bobby P and Giannis? Hold on, let me text LeBron, he said, pulling out his phone as the conversation continued. That's the temperature of this conversation. This isn't a fringe theory cooked up in some corner of NBA Twitter. This is the idea that everyone, players, legends, analysts, keeps coming back to. Now, what does the proposed deal actually look like in full? Under the scenario, Miami would receive LeBron James, Bronny James, Jazz guard Bez Mbeng, and a $10.2 million trade exception. The Lakers would land Andrew Wiggins, Walker Kessler, and a $6 million trade exception, while Utah would receive DeAndre Ayton, Jared Vanderbilt, Jake LaRavia, Dalton Knecht, and 2 future first-round picks. Every party gets something. Los Angeles gets a center, which they desperately need. Utah gets youth and picks to rebuild, and Miami gets LeBron James. And what about Bronny? LeBron and Bronny made history when they became the first father-son duo to ever play an NBA game together. And it's certainly possible the Lakers could trade the younger James to whichever destination his father chooses this offseason. The idea of the James family continuing their chapter together, this time in Miami, is the kind of storyline that transcends basketball. It becomes a cultural moment, a legacy moment, the kind of thing that people are still talking about decades later. What's clear is that LeBron's departure from the Lakers has set off a chain reaction. After 8 years, LeBron's time with the Los Angeles Lakers is officially over. His departure will wipe his $57.75 million cap hold off the Lakers' books, freeing them up to open as much as $52 million in cap space. And barring a last-second change of heart, it puts the Lakers' cap space plan into full motion. For LA, it's a new era. For LeBron, it's a new chapter. And for Miami, it's the possibility of something that felt completely out of reach just a few months ago. We've established the departure. We've established the heat around South Beach. Now let's go deeper, because this story doesn't start with a phone call from Pat Riley and a sign and trade proposal on Bleacher Report. It starts much earlier than that. It starts the first time LeBron James set foot in Miami, over 16 years ago, and realized that this city had something different to offer. His first stint with the Heat ran from 2010 to 2014. After 7 seasons in Cleveland, he joined the Miami Heat in 2010 and won his first 2 NBA championships with the franchise in 2012 and 2013. 2 championships, 4 consecutive finals appearances, 2 finals MVP awards. He was 25 when he arrived and 29 when he left, which means those 4 years represented the most physically dominant stretch of his career. And Miami gave him the infrastructure to translate that dominance into rings. The relationship between LeBron and the Heat is deeper than most people remember. The relationship between James and the Heat were initially frosty after their breakup, but is now strong. The team would welcome a return by James. The frostiness makes sense. He left. Pat Riley was not happy about it, but time has a way of smoothing those edges. And with Giannis now in Miami, the invitation back has never been more compelling. This is the backdrop. This is the foundation. The LeBron to Heat story is not just a cap maneuver or a front office chess move. It's one of the most personal decisions this man will ever make about how he wants his story to end. And understanding what Miami meant to him the first time, what it built in him, what it cost him, and what it gave back, is the only way to understand why going back feels right. Let's close part 1 with the stakes as they currently stand. LeBron James is an unrestricted free agent for the first time since 2018. He made history in the 2025-26 campaign by becoming the first NBA player to play a 23rd season, and talk is building about his potential return in the 2026-27 season. A 24th season. Nobody has done this. Nobody comes close. The teams circling are real. He's been strongly linked with a move to the Golden State Warriors, where he would join Steph Curry and Draymond Green. Cleveland has surfaced. Dallas has been whispered about. But Miami is the one that carries the weight of history. The one that has Giannis. The one where Bam is already waiting, having already played next to a Hall of Famer in his building. And here's the thing, LeBron knows what he's looking for. He's not chasing money at this point. He's chasing one final shot at a title. Miami makes sense, and that primary reason is a legitimate chance to contend for his 5th NBA championship, a 5th ring. 4 championships already, with 3 different franchises. A 5th would be in a category entirely his own. And Miami right now, with this roster, might be the best place to get it. To understand why LeBron would go back to Miami, you have to understand what Miami actually did for him. Not the wins, not the rings. Those are the result, the process, the transformation that happened inside those 4 years, between 2010 and 2014. That's what the city gave him, and it's something no other franchise, not Cleveland, not Los Angeles, ever replicated. When LeBron arrived in South Beach, he was the best basketball player on the planet. That wasn't in dispute. But he hadn't won a championship yet, and the whole world was watching to see if he could. The pressure wasn't just loud, it was suffocating. The 2011 finals loss to Dallas, where he went ice cold at the worst possible moment, set the critics loose in a way that would define the next chapter of his career. But Miami didn't flinch. Pat Riley had built something around 2 other stars, Dwyane Wade and Chris Bosh, and the infrastructure was designed to win. Not to build, not to develop, to win, right now, with no patience for anything less. That environment didn't just suit LeBron, it hardened him. It took the most talented player in the world and gave him the discipline, and the teammates and the coaching to channel all of it into back-to-back championships. The first championship came in 2012. With the Heat, James won his first 2 NBA championships in 2012 and 2013, earning MVP and Finals MVP honors both years. That first one was the exhale, the weight of the 2011 collapse, the memes, the billboards, the jokes, all of it lifting in a single moment. LeBron didn't just win. He played some of the best basketball of his life in those 2012 playoffs, settling into the role of the unquestioned best player on the court every single night. The second championship in 2013 was different. If 2012 was relief, 2013 was mastery. The San Antonio Spurs, one of the most cerebral and well-constructed dynasties in the sport's history, pushed the Heat to 6 games. And Game 6 of that series, where LeBron hit a corner 3 with 27 seconds left to tie the game, forcing overtime, and Miami came back from 5 points down in the final minute, is one of the single greatest moments in finals history. He was 28 years old and had already done things that most players never come close to doing, and Miami was the place where it happened. The city wasn't just a backdrop, it was a character in the story. The culture, the weather, the arena atmosphere at Kaseya Center on a playoff night, all of it contributed to an environment where LeBron James fully became the champion he was always supposed to be. The Heat, in those 4 years, also taught LeBron how to share. This is something that gets overlooked. Wade was a franchise legend who had his own ring before LeBron arrived. The Big Three wasn't about LeBron annexing someone else's team. It was a genuine partnership, 3 max players who had to figure out how to coexist and make it work. And they did. That experience shaped every partnership he had afterward. The way he played alongside Kyrie Irving in Cleveland when they won in 2016. The way he adapted to Anthony Davis arriving in Los Angeles. Even the way he handled the arrival of Doncic, initially stunned, then genuinely embracing the new dynamic. Miami taught him that sharing the ball, the spotlight, and the burden was not a weakness. It was, in fact, the only way to win at the highest level. Now look at what Miami is offering him in 2026. LeBron and Giannis are both fully capable of playing on or off the ball, and LeBron wouldn't have as much pressure on him with the defensive prowess of Bam and Giannis. That description: less pressure, elite defensive support, two-way versatility around him, is almost the exact formula of his 2012 and 2013 championships. He wasn't the only one guarding elite scorers. He wasn't carrying the offensive load alone. He was the best player on a team full of weapons. The Heat's acquisition of Giannis is what makes the reunion genuinely plausible, because it changed the pitch. Before Giannis, Miami was asking LeBron to be the franchise player at 42 years old, the cornerstone, the guy responsible for the offense, the leadership, the defensive intensity. That's a heavy ask, and the cap situation made it even heavier. After Giannis, the ask is completely different. The Heat completed a blockbuster trade last week and acquired Giannis Antetokounmpo. If they can add LeBron via free agency and pair him with Giannis and Bam, that would instantly transform the Heat into contenders overnight. This would be one of the most talented trios in the league. LeBron wouldn't be coming to carry Miami. He'd be coming to complement a team that is already dangerous. He'd be coming to add championship experience and elite playmaking to a group that already has size, defense, and athleticism in abundance. And here's a question worth sitting with. When was the last time a team had three players of this caliber aligned at the same time? Giannis is a two-time MVP and a Finals MVP. LeBron is the greatest player of his generation. Bam Adebayo is one of the premier two-way centers in basketball. That's an Eric Spoelstra cast of characters that'll put an insane amount of pressure on defenses. Regular season or playoffs, Spo's system has always been about maximizing what his personnel can do, and he's never had personnel like this. Let's talk about Pat Riley for a moment, because he is the single most important person in this entire equation. Not LeBron, not Giannis, Riley, the man who built the original Big Three with Wade, Bosh, and LeBron. The man who, when LeBron left in 2014, stood in front of reporters and said with barely concealed fury that he had given everything to keep LeBron, and LeBron chose not to stay. Riley doesn't forget, but more importantly, Riley doesn't stop. The Miami Heat may not be done reshaping the NBA landscape. Fresh off their blockbuster trade for Giannis Antetokounmpo, a new proposal envisions Pat Riley pulling off another seismic move by pairing the two-time MVP with LeBron James. Pat Riley's entire identity is built around the idea that Miami is a destination for greatness. He spends decades building the franchise's culture, so that when a player of LeBron's stature looks around the league, trying to figure out where to close his career, Miami is always on the list. And it works. Giannis Antetokounmpo was genuinely torn. Multiple sources close to him say, between loyalty and love of a city that had embraced him, and his desire to compete for more championships, with a franchise that had exhausted all its resources to try to do that for him. The Heat convinced Giannis to leave the only franchise he'd ever known, a city that had adored him since he was a teenager. If they could do that, a second LeBron reunion doesn't sound like fantasy at all. The financial framework is the sticking point, but not an insurmountable one. The proposal outlines hypothetical contract details for James. Rather than exercising his current option, he would sign a 3-year, $63 million contract with the Heat through the proposed sign and trade. Is that a pay cut from what he's been making? Yes, significantly. His last deal in LA was over $100 million. But James would get 3 years and $63 million via a sign and trade from the Lakers. And while not technically legal as structured, he and the Heat could agree that James would complete 2 of 3 seasons and be compensated in full, at an adjusted annual rate of $31.5 million. The money question is never the real question with LeBron at this stage. He's already the first NBA player in history to accumulate $1 billion in earnings. As an active player, off the court, James has earned further wealth and fame from numerous endorsement contracts. And he is the first player in NBA history to accumulate $1 billion in earnings as an active player. A $31 million salary versus a $50 million salary doesn't change his life. What changes his life is whether his final seasons mean something. Whether he's chasing a 5th ring with a genuine shot at getting it. Miami gives him that shot. The Warriors give him nostalgia. Cleveland gives him sentiment. Miami gives him firepower. And firepower, at this stage of LeBron's career, is the only currency that matters. Now let's deal with the departure of Anthony Davis, because it's impossible to understand what drove LeBron out of LA without it. Everything changed for the Lakers in 2025 when they traded longtime James friend and teammate Davis to get Luka Doncic from the Dallas Mavericks. The deal made the Lakers a better team, but it also reset their timeline. Suddenly, winning right away wasn't a necessity. The Lakers could be patient with the younger Doncic and Austin Reeves as their new centerpieces. This struck James the wrong way. Think about that sentence. This struck James the wrong way. LeBron had been the centerpiece of the Lakers since 2018. He'd won them a title in 2020. He'd carried them through first-round exits and season-ending injuries and roster upheavals for 8 years. And then, in a single trade, the franchise's focus shifted. Luka was now the future. Austin Reeves was now the co-star. And LeBron was what? Exactly. He was still producing at an elite level. He settled in and thrived in his new role. And the Lakers ultimately went 15-2 in March with the James Doncic-Reeves trio on a heater. He made it work. He's a professional, but making something work and being fully invested in it are two different things. And the silence from the Lakers front office during the early days of free agency, no offer, no follow-up, just a check-in call, told LeBron everything he needed to know about where he stood. There's something worth noting about how LeBron processes these moments. He's 41 years old. He's been through 4 franchises, multiple finals, a global pandemic, and more roster disruptions than most players experience in 2 careers. He doesn't panic. He doesn't spiral. He evaluates, and what his evaluation showed him this offseason was simple. Rich Paul told The Athletic, LeBron knows the Lakers are building for the future, and he also wants to compete for championships. We understand the difficulty in winning now while preparing for the future. We do want to evaluate what's best for LeBron at this stage in his life and career. He wants to make every season he has left count. And the Lakers understand that, are supportive, and want what's best for him. That statement was a door opening, and Miami is ready to walk through it. The city that made him a champion is calling. The roster that greeted him when he left, Jimmy Butler, Tyler Herro, Bam, has evolved into something new and arguably more dangerous. Giannis is there now. Bobby Portis is there. Eric Spoelstra is still there, one of the sharpest coaching minds in the sport. And the one ingredient Miami has always had, the willingness to do whatever it takes to compete, has never been more evident than right now. With a roster that was completely reshaped in the span of 72 hours. LeBron's first stint in Miami turned him into a champion. His second stint could make him something beyond even that. The Miami Heat are not a normal organization. That's not praise with an asterisk. That is simply the factual description of what Pat Riley has built over 3 decades at the helm. There are franchises in the NBA that compete. There are franchises that develop talent. There are franchises that occasionally put together a good team and get lucky in the playoffs. And then there's Miami, a franchise that has repeatedly and deliberately attracted some of the greatest players of each era and put them in a position to compete for a title. The Heat culture isn't just a buzzword, it's a methodology. A specific, documented, often discussed framework for how players are developed, maintained, and held accountable. That's an Eric Spoelstra cast of characters that'll put an insane amount of pressure on defenses, regular season or playoffs. Spoelstra has been the head coach since 2008. He coached LeBron through his first 2 championships. He knows exactly what LeBron needs in a system to thrive. And more importantly, he knows how to build around an aging superstar without reducing their effectiveness. The history of Miami pursuing greatness is consistent. LeBron in 2010, Dwayne Wade and Chris Bosh building around each other to attract him. Jimmy Butler appearing out of nowhere in 2019 and taking a Heat team to the finals in his first season there. The Heat have a culture of building teams that overperform expectations. They've done it with players other franchises gave up on. They've done it with late draft picks and minimum contracts and forgotten veterans. And now they've done it again, this time by landing the Greek freak himself. The Giannis trade deserves its own examination because it sets the stage for everything that comes next. The Heat reportedly sent Tyler Herro, Kel'el Ware, Jaime Jaquez Jr., Kasparas Jakučianis, and multiple draft picks to the Milwaukee Bucks to acquire the former Finals MVP, leaving the roster top-heavy but thin on depth. That's a significant haul going out the door. It gutted the depth. It triggered a hard cap situation that limits how Miami can fill the rest of the roster. And it stripped away most of the young tradable assets that give a franchise flexibility. Riley made that trade anyway, because Riley doesn't build for 4 years from now, he builds for right now. James turns 42 in December, which makes him a short-term get, but any chance to get a win-now window will be welcomed by the Heat. They already gutted their roster by moving 4 players for Antetokounmpo. Their aggressive trade nature will not stop at the Greek Freak. Read that last line again. Their aggressive trade nature will not stop at the Greek Freak. That's the statement of a front office that has made its decision and is now looking for the next piece to complete the picture. And the next piece is LeBron James. The math is obvious. Giannis brings the defensive dominance and the post presence. LeBron brings the offensive genius and the championship experience. Bam bridges the two, covering the middle, protecting the rim, running the pick and roll to perfection. The triangle isn't theoretical. It's historically validated by the fact that Bam has been developing this skill set for years, and Giannis has spent his entire career thriving in exactly the kind of system Miami runs. There's another wrinkle to this story that makes the Miami argument even stronger. The Eastern Conference, for the last several years, the East has been dominated by Boston, Milwaukee, and Cleveland. Milwaukee just lost its franchise player. Boston is aging at the core. Cleveland is still a contender but hasn't broken through. With Giannis Antetokounmpo in Miami alongside Bam Adebayo in a much less stressful conference, why not go make one final championship with a team you've already done it with? That's the real sell. LeBron spent the last 8 years in the Western Conference, the hardest road to the finals in the sport. Oklahoma City, Denver, Golden State. The gauntlet was real. Moving to the East, even with the league's competitive balance improving, represents a noticeably more manageable path to the finals. And for a 41-year-old trying to protect his body through a long playoff run, that matters enormously. And Spoelstra's system is built for exactly this. The Heat don't ask their stars to play 38 minutes a night in November. They manage load. They rotate intelligently. They use the regular season as a calibration period rather than a sprint. LeBron averaged 60 games this past year. In Miami, with Giannis sharing the load, his body could be fresher come April than it's been since his days with the Cavaliers. Let's talk about Bam Adebayo specifically, because he's the anchor of all of this. Bam is the player who makes the whole enterprise work. He's the connective tissue between Giannis's power and LeBron's playmaking. He can guard 4 positions. He can catch lobs from LeBron in transition. He can set screens that collapse defenses, and he can protect the rim when teams try to attack Giannis in the paint. And there's a specific chemistry between LeBron and skilled bigs that has always produced results. Davis in Los Angeles, Kevin Love in Cleveland, Chris Bosh in Miami the first time around. LeBron has never thrived alongside a shooting guard or a 3. He thrives alongside intelligent, versatile bigs who can read his game and react. Bam is arguably the most complete version of that archetype in the league today. LeBron is not the same defensively, but he is no slouch. He will give the Heat more size and versatility on defense and offense. Imagine a lineup including Bam, Giannis, and LeBron. They would smother opponents on defense with their length, size, and athleticism. 3 players who can switch onto the ball handler, guard the post, help in the paint, and recover to the perimeter. That lineup would be a defensive nightmare for every team in the league. And offensively, with LeBron reading the floor at the elbow and Giannis running in transition, defenses would have no answer. The Heat's culture also solves one of the persistent problems in LeBron's recent Lakers seasons: roster depth. Riley has consistently found contributions from players nobody expected anything from. The mid-level exception, the veteran minimum deals. Miami gets more out of those spots than almost any team in the league, because the culture demands it. Players who come to Miami know they have to perform. There's no coasting in Spoelstra's system. That matters for LeBron because of how he plays. He's a playmaker. He needs movement around him. He needs cutters who are on time, 3-point shooters who catch and shoot without hesitating, and role players who execute the game plan precisely. Miami's system is exactly that. The Heat run one of the most disciplined motion offenses in the league. And LeBron, who has adapted his game more than any player in history, would fit that system like a key into a lock. Norman Powell, who could potentially stay in Miami through this restructured deal, is exactly the kind of wing LeBron has thrived alongside. The envisioned starting lineup would feature Giannis Antetokounmpo, LeBron James, Bam Adebayo, Davion Mitchell, and Norman Powell, with Powell re-signed on a new deal after the trade creates additional cap flexibility. Mitchell is one of the most reliable two-way guards in the Eastern Conference. Powell can fill it from anywhere on the floor. That's not a glamorous supporting cast, but it's a winning one. Now let's deal with the elephant in the room. Can LeBron actually still play at a level where he contributes to a championship? Because that's the honest question. He's 41. He'll be 42 before the season ends. The NBA is not a sport that has historically been kind to players this age. James didn't show any signs of slowing down this past season. The athleticism and explosiveness may have dialed down, but he is still dropping decent production with serious minutes on the floor, averaging around 20.9 points, 6.1 rebounds, and 7.2 assists per game. Let's put that in context. 21 and 7 and 6 is an all-star line for most players in the league. At 41, it's historic. There is literally no precedent for this production at this age. The closest comparison is Karl Malone, who played at 40 but at a reduced level. LeBron is still a starting caliber player on any team in the league. That's not sentiment, that's the stat line. And in the playoffs, the games that actually matter, he went to another level entirely. The 23.7 assist, 7 rebound average against Houston and Oklahoma City was done without his two best teammates, against a full-strength Miami roster, with Giannis and Bam taking the defensive load off him. Those numbers don't decline. They could legitimately go up. There's also the matter of the Heat's defensive infrastructure, because one of the things that has aged most noticeably in LeBron's game is his on-ball defense. He's still a smart defender. He still has instincts that most players never develop, but the elite one-on-one stopping ability he had at 28 is gone. That's physics, that's biology. And in the playoffs, when teams are scheming specifically to attack your weakest defender, that's a liability. Miami eliminates it. As the proposal noted, LeBron and Giannis are both fully capable of playing on or off the ball, and LeBron wouldn't have as much pressure on him with the defensive prowess of Bam and Giannis. The idea isn't a crazy fairy tale anymore. This is a full possibility, in a place that he has been before, in a place with a basketball fit, and a place that would be willing to bring along Bronny. That last part lands differently when you think about it clearly. This is a franchise that has already proved it can build a super team, that has the coaching to maximize it, that has the defensive infrastructure to protect LeBron's limitations, and that is willing to absorb Bronny into the rotation, giving LeBron one more season alongside his son. The Heat are not just a landing spot for LeBron James, they're the landing spot, the one that checks the most boxes, the one that, when you map out every variable that matters to LeBron at this stage of his life and career, keeps coming up at the top. And there's the legacy question. Because with LeBron, there's always the legacy question. He's spent 20 years thinking about how history will remember him. Every decision he's made in free agency, from the decision in Cleveland, to the quiet departure from Miami to the move to Hollywood, has been about more than basketball. It's been about the story, the arc, the chapter headings. Returning to Miami to win a 5th championship with a completely different super team, alongside Giannis, the dominant player of the next generation, is a chapter that writes itself. It's not a victory lap. It's not a farewell tour with a camera crew following him around. It's a genuine competitive run, a legitimate title chase, the kind of final chapter that puts the entire career in a completely different frame. And the Heat, right now, today, this morning, they have Giannis. The Heat have to win a title now in order to make this trade worth it. Trading 4 first-round picks takes a massive dent out of their ability to build the future if this doesn't work out. Antetokounmpo is a top 5 player when he is healthy. They didn't acquire Giannis to be competitive. They acquired him to win a championship. And they need LeBron James to make that championship run credible, executable, and ultimately successful. The machine that is the Miami Heat has been running since Pat Riley walked in the door. It has outlasted dynasties, absorbed superstars, rebuilt from scratch, and consistently found its way back to relevance. The Heat are not a franchise in decline. They're a franchise in surge mode, having just pulled off the most significant transaction of the offseason, and now targeting the one player who could push them from contender to favorite. This is the organization that shaped LeBron James as a champion. Not just as a player, as a champion. The mental toughness, the late-game execution, the understanding of what it takes to win in the finals, all of it was forged in Miami between 2010 and 2014. Coming back to that environment with more experience and more wisdom, and a supporting cast that's arguably even more formidable than the one he left, is the natural conclusion to a career that has always been about finding the right fit for the right moment. The machine is ready. The question is whether LeBron is ready to climb back in. You can't tell the story of LeBron going to Miami without fully accounting for what happened in Los Angeles. Because the 8 years in purple and gold weren't a detour or a footnote. They were a defining stretch of his career, shaped by injury, by triumph, by blockbuster trades, and ultimately by the slow, irreversible shift of power within the franchise from LeBron's orbit to someone younger. When LeBron signed with the Lakers in 2018, it was the culmination of something he'd been building toward for years. Rumors about LeBron's eventual move to the Lakers started as early as the 2017 NBA Finals. Los Angeles wasn't just a basketball decision. It was a business decision, a lifestyle decision, a family decision. His son Bronny was in high school in the area. His production company, Spring Hill, was growing into something significant. Hollywood made sense, and the Lakers, 16 championships, one of the most iconic franchises in American sports, made sense for the image he was building. The first year was painful. Their major free agent acquisition, LeBron James, suffered the first major injury in his career, and he missed the playoffs for the first time since 2005. A groin injury in Christmas game, a lost season, a front office in transition, Magic Johnson stepping down in bizarre fashion. LeBron stuck around through all of it, but the foundation was shaky from day one. Then Anthony Davis arrived in 2019, and everything changed. Davis had requested a trade, and the Pelicans subsequently traded him to the Los Angeles Lakers during the 2019 offseason, with the Pelicans receiving Lonzo Ball, Brandon Ingram, Josh Hart, and 3 first-round draft picks. The partnership between LeBron and Davis became something remarkable almost immediately. 2 elite players, operating with complete trust in each other, building a team chemistry that felt inevitable. And then the world stopped. The 2020 championship happened in the NBA bubble, a surreal tournament played without fans in a biosecure environment in Orlando during the COVID-19 pandemic. In this best-of-7 playoff series, the Western Conference champion Los Angeles Lakers defeated the Eastern Conference champion Miami Heat 4-2 for the franchise's 17th championship title overall. It was LeBron's 4th ring with a 3rd different franchise. He became the only player in NBA history to win Finals MVP with 3 different teams. The moment was surreal, but it was real and it belonged to Los Angeles. LeBron James was named the NBA Finals Most Valuable Player for the 4th time in his career. 4 Finals MVPs with 3 different teams. There are players in the Hall of Fame who never won a single one. That's how extraordinary this man's career has been. But what the bubble gave them, time began to take back. Injuries to LeBron James and Anthony Davis, among others, derailed the Lakers' season in 2020-21. The short offseason, the accumulated mileage on 2 aging stars, the absence of depth, all of it conspired to make the defending champions one of the most disappointing teams of the following year. The next several years were a cycle of tantalizing potential and crushing disappointment. Davis's health was never reliable. The roster around them was inconsistent. The front office made moves that didn't always make sense from a basketball standpoint. And LeBron, who produces at an elite level regardless of what's around him, kept churning out lines that would make most franchises grateful, beyond measure, while watching championship windows open and close. His team missed the playoffs twice in his 8 years in LA. Relative to other Lakers legends, a single trophy certainly feels like a failure. But put it in context. LeBron joined the Lakers a few years past his prime. His age 34 campaign was his first one in LA. He arrived without the physical tools he had in Miami. He spent parts of several seasons managing injuries that would have ended other careers. And he still won a championship and produced Hall of Fame numbers every single season. The most significant moment in his Lakers tenure, beyond the 2020 championship, came in February 2025, the Luka Doncic trade. Anthony Davis was traded to the Dallas Mavericks in exchange for Luka Doncic, in what was regarded as one of the most unexpected trades in American sports history. This wasn't just a basketball trade. For LeBron, it was the franchise telling him something he hadn't been told directly, that the future belonged to someone else. LeBron spent 2 days in disbelief after the Lakers traded away his close friend and teammate of 5.5 years. The top scorer in NBA history was finally coming to grips with the idea of forming a new partnership with Luka Doncic. 2 days. This is a man who has processed more chaos in his career than almost any athlete alive. And this trade left him genuinely floored for 48 hours. He found his footing publicly. He went on record saying Luka had been his favorite player in the NBA for a while. He embraced the transition. He said the right things. He didn't cause a scene, but in private, the message had landed, and it planted a seed that grew quietly over the next 12 months, until it finally became the departure we're watching unfold right now. The 2025-26 season was LeBron's last in LA, and he played it knowing it was likely his last. The Lakers had acquired Luka Doncic at the 2025 trade deadline, a stunning blockbuster that forced them to reconsider the timeline that they prioritized in building their roster. Doncic and Austin Reeves were suddenly the priorities, pushing James down the organizational pecking order. But LeBron, being LeBron, didn't let that diminish his performance. He settled in and thrived in his new role, and the Lakers ultimately went 15-2 in March. With the James Doncic-Reeves trio on a heater, that March run was breathtaking. 3 ball-dominant players, 2 of them all-time great passers, 1 of them a knockdown shooter who could do a little of everything, clicking at a level that made you believe the championship window was genuinely open. And then the wheels came off. Any championship hopes the Lakers might have harbored were ultimately dashed when Doncic and Reeves suffered a pair of late-season injuries that kept the former out for the whole postseason and the latter out for part of it. James still led the Lakers to a first-round upset over the Houston Rockets, but they were swept in the second round by the Oklahoma City Thunder. The sweep was not on LeBron. He played every minute, gave everything he had, and came up against a Thunder team that was simply too young and too athletic to be beaten by a half roster. But it cemented the feeling that had been building for months. This wasn't his team anymore. Beyond that, individually, LeBron produced like a Hall of Famer during his Lakers years. He totaled 12,402 points, 3,808 assists, 3,680 rebounds, 552 steals, and 297 blocks in those 8 seasons. There are only 36 players in NBA history who hit all 5 of those marks in their entire careers. 28 of those players are either in the Hall or will be. Let's not lose that in the narrative of departure. LeBron James gave Los Angeles everything. He played through injuries. He played through roster upheaval. He played through the Davis trade without publicly complaining. He showed up for an organization that was rebuilding around a new star and put up stats that would be career-defining for anyone else. His legacy in Los Angeles is a championship and a statistical body of work that defies everything we know about how athletes age. James now becomes an unusual free agent. He is coming off a near-max contract, and he is arguably the greatest player in NBA history. He isn't nearly that valuable anymore, but he remains a very high-level player capable of leading a team through a first-round series and probably supporting a better one deeper into the playoffs. That last sentence is the key. He doesn't need to be the man anymore. He needs to be alongside the man. And in Miami, that man is Giannis. And what about Bronny? Because the father-son story has its own momentum, and it complicates the free agency picture in ways that are genuinely human. Bronny James has been a bit player for the Lakers in his 2 NBA seasons, appearing in 69 total games, while averaging 2.7 points, 1.1 assists, and shooting 34.8% from 3. He's developing. He's not a star, but he's a professional basketball player, and his presence on LeBron's next roster is something that LeBron has made clear matters to him. Chalmers implied that Bronny would be part of this potential move to Miami. He went on to highlight how the infrastructure in Miami would serve as the perfect environment to nurture Bronny's development. You could actually get Bronny some real minutes at PG and keep developing him, and let him learn from other guys. So I think it's a great move. Chalmers knows this organization. He knows what Miami does with young players. The Heat's development infrastructure is one of the best in basketball. Bronny landing in Miami, learning from Spoelstra's staff, playing alongside Giannis and Bam. That's a significantly better development path than staying in LA. As the third-string guard on a team whose starting backcourt is set for the next 5 years, the Lakers will not hold Bronny. There's very much a world in which the Lakers see Bronny as young, cheap depth they aren't willing to part with this summer. The father-son duo may be splitting up next season. But if the sign-and-trade framework includes Bronny moving to Miami as part of the package, there's no basketball reason for Los Angeles to block it. They get Walker Kessler and Andrew Wiggins in the deal. They get what they actually need to build around Luka, and LeBron gets everything he's looking for. The Lakers chapter is closed. It ended the way most things in basketball end, not with a dramatic collapse or a public falling out, but with a quiet, mutual recognition that the moment had passed. LeBron gave them a title. He gave them records. He gave them 8 years of work that most franchises would trade a decade of drafts for. And they gave him a platform to extend his career well into territory no one thought was possible. But there is no fifth ring in Los Angeles for LeBron James. The Luka era is beginning. Austin Reeves is locked in, even though Austin Reeves has already agreed to a 4-year, $185 million max contract. He'll be the last official move the Lakers make. Until they officially sign him to that deal, he'll be on the books for his cap hold instead of his new salary, which is what enables them to open $50 plus million in cap space this offseason. The new era is funded and ready to launch, and LeBron James is not in the plans, which means LeBron James is free. Free for the first time since he was 33 years old. Free to choose the place, the team, the chapter, and the legacy he wants to close out with. And of all the places that are circling, Golden State, Cleveland, Dallas. Only one city made him who he truly is. Only one city built the champion. Only one city is now offering him the most dangerous roster he's been offered since his own prime. Miami is calling, and the world is watching to see if he answers. This is where we land. All the pieces are in place now. The Lakers' tenure is over, gracefully and professionally. The Heat have Giannis. The sign and trade framework exists. The voices, Chalmers, Fisher, Ocho Cinco, Sharp, Barry Jackson of the Herald, are all pointing in the same direction. And LeBron James is sitting somewhere on the other end of Rich Paul's phone, making the most consequential decision of his post-championship career. Let's walk through what this chapter actually looks like if the move happens. The envisioned starting lineup would feature Giannis Antetokounmpo, LeBron James, Bam Adebayo, Davion Mitchell, and Norman Powell. Rather than exercising his current option, LeBron would sign a 3-year, $63 million contract with the Heat through the proposed sign and trade. 3 years, $63 million. For context, that's roughly what LeBron was making per year over the last 2 seasons. But it includes optionality. The structure allows him to exit after 2 seasons if he chooses to retire or renegotiate. The competitive implications are immediate. Miami's Heat, with that starting 5, are not a second-round exit waiting to happen. They're a finals contender. If they can add LeBron via free agency and pair him with Giannis and Bam, that would instantly transform the Heat into contenders overnight. That's not analyst speak. That's the sober assessment of what those 3 players in that system, under that coaching staff, would do to opposing defenses every night from October to June. Let's think about this from the opposing team's perspective. You're a coach preparing to defend this Heat starting 5. You have LeBron James at the 4, which means your 4 has to be capable of guarding a 6'9" playmaker who can make every pass on the court and still get to the rim at 42 years old. You have Giannis at the 3, which means your 3 has to be capable of guarding the most physically dominant player in the league. And you have Bam at the 5, which means your center can't hide on the perimeter or they'll be switching onto LeBron in isolation. There's no lineup in the East that solves all 3 problems simultaneously. Boston doesn't have the personnel. Cleveland doesn't have the athleticism. New York doesn't have the shooting. Golden State and Cleveland make sense for different reasons. But Miami makes sense too. And that primary reason is a legitimate chance to contend for a 5th NBA championship. The East is weaker right now than it's been in years. Milwaukee just traded Giannis away. The Bucks are in a rebuild. Indiana is still developing. The window in the Eastern Conference has never been wider for a team with Miami's current firepower. LeBron has been in enough finals to understand path dependency. The Warriors dynasty won 4 titles, partly because the Western Conference road they took kept them sharp. The Heat's path through the East in 2012 and 2013 was challenging but manageable. A Giannis, LeBron, Bam Miami team in the East right now has a shorter, more navigable road to the finals than any Western Conference team LeBron could join, including the Warriors. Now let's talk about the other suitors, because context matters here. The Warriors, currently the odds-on favorites to land LeBron, have their own pitch. James, Davis, Curry, and Kerr helped Team USA capture Olympic gold in Paris in 2024, with James later saying playing alongside Curry felt effortless because they play basketball the right way. That's a real bond. Steph Curry is one of the few players in the league that LeBron has consistently praised without reservation. But Golden State comes with complications. Sources told Charania that the Golden State Warriors are expected to pursue James when free agency opens. Draymond Green opted out of his contract, creating the financial space to make a run. But the Warriors are in the same Western Conference as Oklahoma City, Denver, Phoenix, and Dallas. The road to the finals from the West right now is brutal. and LeBron at 42 navigating 7 playoff series and 60-something games to win a ring isn't a viable plan. Not because of his willingness, but because of simple probability. Cleveland is sentimental. In one scenario, the Lakers would keep LeBron's cap hold on their books, and a sign and trade to Cleveland would likely be their first official move. The Cavaliers are a legitimate contender. James Harden has re-signed. The core is set, but LeBron already won a championship in Cleveland. He already delivered that city its curse-breaking moment. Going back at 42 to try to do it again, without the athletic tools of his 31-year-old self, would be a gamble with his legacy rather than an enhancement of it. Miami is the choice that makes sense from every angle except the financial one. And at this stage of his career, LeBron has made it abundantly clear, through every public statement, every agent release, every offseason decision, that the financial angle is not the one that drives him. Championships drive him, legacy drives him, and the ability to spend his final seasons playing meaningful basketball with a genuine shot at winning drives him. The Heat lack the cap space for another max contract, and offering the 4-time NBA champion less than his current salary would be unjustifiable, given his legendary stature and elite production on the hardwood. That's the honest tension. Riley can't pay LeBron max money. The Giannis trade costs too much. The first apron hard cap limits the Heat's ability to write a 9-figure check. But a sign and trade with the right structure gives LeBron a meaningful deal, keeps his annual salary respectable, and puts him on the most competitive team he's been on since the 2013 Heat. The framework is there. The proposal is detailed. Under the scenario, Miami would receive LeBron James, Bronny James, Jazz guard Bez Mbeng, and a $10.2 million trade exception. The Lakers would land Andrew Wiggins, Walker Kessler, and a $6 million trade exception, while Utah would receive DeAndre Ayton, Jared Vanderbilt, Jake LaRavia, Dalton Knecht, and 2 future first-round picks. Every party wins. This isn't a lopsided deal. This isn't Miami stealing something. This is a 3-team arrangement where the Lakers get their center problem solved. Utah gets youth and picks, and Miami gets to run the most dangerous starting 5 in the Eastern Conference. Let's sit with the legacy frame one more time, because LeBron's career has been defined by chapters, not seasons. Cleveland was the origin story. Miami was the transformation. Cleveland again was the redemption. Los Angeles was the conquest. Each chapter had a theme, a lesson, a specific kind of greatness attached to it. What is the Miami return? If it happens, it's the synthesis. The man who was built into a champion in Miami, coming back as the most accomplished player in the history of the sport, no longer needing to prove anything, choosing this city and this team, not because he has to, but because it's where the best version of this last chapter lives. That's a profoundly different energy than his first stint, when he was 25 and carrying the weight of the world and still figuring out how to win. He's figured it out 4 times now. After 4 seasons in Miami, he returned to Cleveland in 2014, leading the Cavaliers to their first ever championship in 2016, ending the Cleveland sports curse. He signed with the Lakers in 2018, winning another title in 2020, and becoming the first player to win Finals MVP with 3 different teams. 4 championships, 4 Finals MVPs. The player who once needed Miami to teach him how to win could return to Miami as the teacher, as the elder statesman, as the one who shows Giannis, brilliant, dominant, hungry Giannis, what it actually takes to get it done in June. And what about that 5th ring? This is the number that will define the final act of LeBron's career, regardless of where he plays. He is the first player in NBA history to accumulate $1 billion in earnings as an active player. The records are his. The scoring title is his. The longevity is his, but a 5th ring, tying Kobe Bryant, tying Magic Johnson, one behind Michael Jordan. That's the basketball achievement that sits above everything else on the resume. Miami has the pieces for it. Not on paper, in theory, under ideal circumstances. Right now, with this roster, with this coaching staff, with this front office, the Heat still could use some added on-ball playmaking and creation, and James still provides that at this stage. He would probably be playing point guard in many lineups, even though they wouldn't want to overuse him in the regular season. That role, the facilitating forward, the playmaking backbone in the half court, the player who makes everyone around him better without necessarily being the leading scorer, is the most LeBron at 41 role imaginable, and Spoelstra is the ideal coach to deploy it. As the proposal noted, LeBron and Giannis are both fully capable of playing on or off the ball, and LeBron wouldn't have as much pressure on him with the defensive prowess of Bam and Giannis. The idea isn't a crazy fairy tale anymore. This is a full possibility, in a place that he has been before, in a place with a basketball fit, and a place that would be willing to bring along Bronny. This could come full circle with a return to close out the final phase of his career. Full circle. The phrase lands with weight when you consider it. He came to Miami a superstar who hadn't won. He could return to Miami a legend, trying to win one more time. There's also the human element that no analytics model captures. LeBron James has spent his entire adult life in basketball cities. Cleveland, where he grew up and where he was defined. Miami, where he became a champion. Cleveland again, where he delivered something irreplaceable to the people who raised him. Los Angeles, where he built an empire. Miami was the first city that truly loved him without reservation. Cleveland claimed him by birth. LA loved him for his star power. But Miami loved LeBron, the basketball player, the relentless competitor, the obsessive film studier, the teammate who elevated everyone around him. The fans at Kaseya Center, then American Airlines Arena, gave him something the other cities took years to give. Unconditional support from the moment he walked in the door. The relationship between LeBron and the city of Miami has healed over time. The relationship between James and the Heat was initially frosty after their breakup, but is now strong. The team would welcome a return by James. Frosty is the right word for 2014, but 12 years have passed. Pat Riley has moved on. He still holds the grudge in the professional sense, the way a competitor always holds a grudge, but he'd set all of it aside in a heartbeat if it meant another championship. That's who Riley is. What about the Warriors angle? Why doesn't that close the door on Miami? Because as of right now, LeBron has not made a decision. The free agency negotiating period just opened. On June 30, the superstar forward checked 2 boxes before NBA free agency. LeBron not only confirmed that retirement is not in the cards before the 2026-2027 NBA season, but he also officially cut ties with the Los Angeles Lakers. The third box, the destination, is still open. The Warriors are current favorites at -500 odds on DraftKings, with the Cavaliers at +300, Heat at +1,000, and Spurs at +2,000. Those odds reflect conventional wisdom. They reflect the assumption that LeBron will stay in California, that he'll pair with Steph Curry, that the West is where he belongs. But LeBron has spent his career defying conventional wisdom. The decision was not conventional wisdom. Miami the first time was not conventional wisdom. None of his defining moves were, until they happened, and then they became obvious in retrospect. And there's another number worth sitting with. LeBron made history in the 2025-26 campaign by becoming the first NBA player to play a 23rd season. 23 seasons. A 24th is now confirmed. The man is playing basketball at an elite level, at an age when most people are managing lower back pain at their desk job. Every decision he makes from here is unprecedented because no one has ever been here before, which means there's no template for what he does next. The rules don't apply. And Riley, Pat Riley, the man who wrote half the rules of this sport, is ready to make his move. Let's talk about Giannis's state of mind in all of this, because the 2-time MVP didn't move to Miami just to play next to Bobby Portis and Davion Mitchell. He moved there to win. Giannis Antetokounmpo was genuinely torn between loyalty and love of a city that had embraced him as a skinny kid from Greece 13 years ago, and his desire to compete for more championships with a franchise that had exhausted all its resources to try to do that for him. He left Milwaukee because Milwaukee had given him everything it could, and it still wasn't enough. One championship in 2021, a finals appearance that should have led to a dynasty, and then a gradual decline in the team around him that made it clear the window was closing. Miami offered him the chance to start fresh in a winning culture with a proven system and a front office that had already demonstrated it could attract greatness. Now imagine Giannis learning that LeBron James, 4-time champion, greatest of all-time candidate, the man who's played in the most finals in this era, is coming to Miami to play alongside him, not as a competitor, as a teammate, as someone who can sit with Giannis in the film room and explain, from lived experience, exactly what it takes to beat the teams that have been beating Milwaukee for years. That's not a basketball transaction. That's a mentorship embedded inside a super team. And for Giannis, who is 31 and still hungry, that's the thing he's been missing. The final piece of this entire story is the simplest one. LeBron James wants to win, not participate. not be competitive, win. He said it in every interview, every statement, every public communication for the last 2 years. LeBron wants to compete for a championship. He knows the Lakers are building for the future. He understands that, but he values a realistic chance of winning it all. That's not just a line from Rich Paul. That's LeBron's entire operating philosophy. Miami gives him a realistic chance of winning it all, not a theoretical one. Not a if everything goes right one. Right now, today, before a single game has been played. The Heat with Giannis, LeBron, and Bam are a legitimate Eastern Conference champion. They are a legitimate finals team. Against whoever emerges from the West, Oklahoma City, Denver, the Warriors themselves. Miami with that trio is a matchup problem that no team in the league has a definitive answer to. The NBA star will play an unprecedented 24th season after moving to a new team during free agency. An unprecedented 24th season, with an unprecedented roster, in a city that built him, under the coaching staff that proved it knows exactly how to maximize his genius. This is LeBron James's new chapter, and if it goes the way Pat Riley is planning, it doesn't just add another chapter to the story, it changes how the whole book is remembered. Here's where we are right now, today. LeBron is officially a free agent. The Lakers are officially moving on. The Heat have officially rebuilt around Giannis. The framework for a sign and trade is publicly available, debated by insiders, endorsed by former teammates, and discussed on every sports broadcast in the country. The money can be made to work. The basketball fit is undeniable. The legacy argument points directly at South Beach. The things working against it are real. The cap constraints are genuine. The Miami Heat are a hard-capped first-apron team. They can only offer LeBron the mid-level exception at $12 million a year without a sign and trade. That gap between what LeBron has been earning and what the Heat can directly offer requires creativity. The kind of creativity that takes time, involves multiple teams, and demands everyone to trust the process before the paperwork is signed. But Riley has done this before. He turned the Heat into a landing spot for the most sought-after free agents in basketball history. Not once, but repeatedly. He outpitched every franchise in the league to get LeBron in 2010. He outpitched Boston and others to get Giannis weeks ago. According to Sports Illustrated, there is a realistic possibility of a return to South Beach via sign and trade. Realistic, not guaranteed, not done, but real. And in the LeBron James free agency market, real is more than most destinations can claim. The next 48 hours will tell us everything. Free agency is open. Phones are ringing. Rich Paul is at the center of the most significant player movement of the NBA offseason, managing a client whose decision will reshape the Eastern Conference, rattle the Western Conference, and give one lucky fan base the greatest gift in basketball. LeBron James in their building, playing for something real, in what might genuinely be the final act of the greatest career this sport has ever seen. The idea isn't a crazy fairy tale anymore. This is a full possibility in a place that he has been before, in a place with a basketball fit, and a place that would be willing to bring along Bronny. This could come full circle with a return to close out the final phase of his career. Full circle. Those two words carry everything. The prodigal champion returning to the city that first crowned him, not as a supplicant, not as a nostalgia act, but as the last and possibly greatest version of himself, walking into a situation built specifically to give him one final shot at the ring that would put an exclamation mark on the most extraordinary career in NBA history. South Beach hasn't seen anything like this since the summer of 2010. And what Miami did with LeBron James then, it is fully